Welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti. My guest this evening is Chris Aniskovich, who is the town chairman for the town of Clinton. Mr. Chairman.
Peter.
How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's new, buddy?
Nothing.
No.
Are we in now? No.
No.
I got to keep going.
No.
Right.
No, that's not it.
Okay, good. All right. It's going good, actually.
Yeah?
Very busy in Clinton. Yep. So the biggest thing, obviously, now that everybody wants to talk about is Pearson School.
Okay.
So town council has met twice, and we've done 2 workshops as it relates to the building, because the options of keeping, selling, or doing some sort of hybrid where you kind of, configure it so that the town has some sort of say in kind of what's going on or what we can maybe do in the building.
Yep.
So there's all those options that are out there and on the table right now. Mm-hmm. So Carl Kilduff, the town manager, has put together some figures and numbers for the council members so that we can review everything as it relates to the building.
Yep.
So that if we sell it, that option would be there. If we keep it, how much it would cost, because there's a lot of renovations that the building needs.
Yeah.
It's an older building, hasn't been used for 5 years. Right. So if somebody came in and wanted to, or we wanted to do something with it, then we would have to obviously update it and renovate it, and it's kind of expensive. So there was 2 options. One was about $11 million.
Okay.
The other one was about $17 million that it would cost.
All right.
And that would be to retrofit it to, people are talking about a community center, a senior center, some of the things that that people have asked about in town, for us maybe to look into that. So council's done 2 workshops, been really good. We've gotten a lot of information from the town manager. So the biggest thing is making sure that when we make the decision, I've kind of stressed it more than once, is that that's it. Like, we don't get a redo.
Nope.
So once we say what we're going to do with the building, we have to make sure that this is it, this is the final decision, and we have to live with that decision as we go forward. So the difficulty is the amount of money that some of this stuff would cost. So to retrofit the building, to keep it, you're going to have a tax implication to every citizen in the town. Mm-hmm. So we have to be cognizant of that so that we're not really double taxing them as we go through this process. We have our annual budgets at the same time we're doing our annual budget.
Right.
So we can talk about that after, but we did a forecasting of that. So Carl Kilduff gave us that information too. So Pearson, I think it's gonna take some time for us to get a final decision. We haven't even had the public hearing yet.
Okay.
But the council has kind of come together, and at our last meeting that we had last week, we decided to do a request for a proposal. Yeah. To do an RFP and to put that out there so we can get some ideas from people as far as what they feel they could do with the building. Okay. The council had a lot of discussions about senior housing, because that's something that's important not only in our town but kind of all over the state. But in in our town, we really kind of need something like that. So we were kind of going down the path of maybe doing housing, whether it be senior housing, affordable housing, but that would kind of, old schools get retrofitted a lot easier for apartments than for housing. Yep. Just because of the design of it and how it's set up. You would think it's crazy how they do it, but they just blast through the cement floors and put through pipes, and so that's sort of what the developer would have to do. But we wanted to see, get some opinions from people on what they would do with the building, so that we don't. I'm sure there's things that the council haven't even thought of that other developers may come in and say, we'd like to do this to the building. So the request for proposal will give us that option. Then down the road we'll do another public hearing, or not another, we'll do a public hearing, so that the public can come forth and have their opinions. But
now let's say once they decide to do whatever they're going to do to the building.
Yep.
What happens to the gazebo?
Oh boy.
In front of the building.
Always got to bring up the gazebo.
Of course. Does it
so
stay?
Again,
Does it
well,
go?
yeah, well. Again, that's going to have to be something that, and the request for proposal gives us the opportunity to talk to a developer. Gotcha. So that we can say, people are very passionate about that whole building overall, because it's a big part of our town, big part of the history, the facade, everything else. Mm-hmm. And those are important to us as council members as well. I mean, ultimately, that decision on what we do with the building falls in our laps. Right. And it's not going to be an easy decision. Not everybody's going to like what the ultimate decision is, because there's people that say sell it, there's people that say keep it, there's people that say, let's do a community center, a senior center. All those things cost money.
Absolutely.
And not only to renovate the building, to retrofit it to do what we would like it to be, but also ongoing operational costs. So that every year, if you have a community center, if you have a senior center, there's annual costs that are associated with that. And so that's, again, ultimately has a tax consequence to everybody in town. So again, we just have to make sure we're making the best decision for everybody in town and for the town itself going forward. I mean, this isn't a decision for, today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year.
This is going to be a decision that's going to affect everybody over the long run.
Right. And a lot of the money that we'd have to do if we did retrofit the building and renovated the building would be we'd have to bond the money, which then creates a debt service payment to the town, which again also creates a tax obligation.
Exactly. Now, one of the other things, we're going to stay on town topic for a second.
Okay.
Because if I don't mention this and if you don't mention it, we're both going to get in trouble.
Okay. What'd you do?
I didn't do anything. From what I understand, we have a charter revision committee. And rumor has it.
Oh, here we go.
I think we both might know the chairman.
The chairman.
I've heard of her, though.
She's a nice woman. Dolly Mezzetti is the chairman of the Charter Revision Committee.
Never heard of her.
Well, you know what? You're going to get in trouble. So that's your problem now.
Yeah, probably.
You're the one in trouble, not me.
Yeah.
Yes, Charter Revision, they've met multiple times, and they've done a good job so far.
Absolutely.
I think they're going down the path of the council presented a charge to them, and they reviewed those charges that we presented.
Okay.
Talked about some other things that were mentioned at the public hearing.
Yep.
And we're on target for hopefully being on the referendum next election cycle. So
cool.
Those updates are, because it's an 18-month kind of period that you have to go through where you have the meetings, you have to make the changes, you have to have a public hearing, and then obviously give it enough time so that we can get it onto the ballot as a referendum.
So that would be on the local referendum.
That's the local. Yep.
That's the local.
Which is the time you want it to kind of coincide with the local election. So our town council elections again fall on 2023.
Right.
So
absolutely,
they're doing wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now you're not in trouble anymore.
No, there you go. Now I also saw by doing research for tonight's show that we also have a new town planner.
We do.
Okay, tell me about it.
She was. We put it out the request for resumes maybe a month ago. Got a few people that came forth. So the council had met a couple times in executive session to go over it, and she's been offered a contract.
Okay.
So names, and we'll release that soon. But we're looking forward to it. It's something that the town has kind of had on the plate for a while.
Okay.
In the past, I don't think we budgeted enough for it because obviously, you got to be able to pay them and make sure you're getting the right person for our town. So this person comes from Waterford, lives in Madison, so it's local. The council's very happy about it. We're excited that we have somebody that can kind of work in the land use office and give some direction to work with everybody down there already.
Absolutely.
Because as the development continues to go on in town, it's important to have somebody like that.
Right.
Because the Indian River shops, where Big Y is, that'll continue to be developed as we go forward. We still have Unilever we're still waiting on, hopefully a site plan that may be coming forth soon about what they're going to do over there. So there's still things that a town planner is something that's important to us, and I'm glad. I think now that we have a town manager in place, it makes it a little bit easier for that person to come in and know that we're on a good path here in Clinton.
Now, how are things going over on the Unilever property?
We're just waiting.
Okay.
I mean, there was talk that they were going to submit a site plan to planning and zoning. They were in contact with planning and zoning.
All right.
And that's kind of where we are. So as soon as they submit that to planning and zoning, they can start that process. So not sure what it's going to be or what it involves, but we've been told that was going to happen.
It's going to involve something.
It will be something.
It will be.
And the apartments are still going. So the apartments next to that, behind the train station, those are going up. You can see beautiful building going up there, and those will be the beginning of 2023.
Nice.
That those hopefully will be done. So everything's moving forward in that area as well.
Absolutely. Obviously, the summer is over.
Summer's over, so we got rid of 10,000 people.
There you go.
So now we can, but there's still traffic, so it doesn't matter. So it's just less traffic.
Absolutely.
So yes, back to kind of the normalcy of what our town is about, and it's good. It's good to see that we are developing some stuff. Controlled development in our town is what we need to help on our tax base. So Indian River shops will help, Unilever will help, and hopefully it'll continue. We have actually a bank, a credit union is coming in next to where the fire police station is now. That older building, that was bluish gray building right across the street from the police station. They went to planning and zoning and have an approval to put in a credit union there.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
So that was approved, and then the old CVS is still in play. That's going to be the veterinary hospital. Or the vet that was over in the Chips Plaza is going to be moving over there, so that's still in the works.
That's still.
So everything seems to be kind of going through and working.
All right. Speaking of going through and working, it obviously all takes money. How are we looking on the budget? Okay. Yeah.
It'll be fine.
All right.
Infancy stages of the budget. So we did the forecasting, so I'm not going to say anything, obviously, about what was, I mean, I don't want to get anybody all worked up.
No.
But it's something that we will have to continue to work on. And again, the council, I mean, we all know, we've tried for the past 2 years and have gotten to the point where we haven't had a tax increase.
Right.
The 1 year we had our mill rate dropped. So we want to continue on that. People are still struggling. Things are still expensive. We are in that inflationary period. People are worrying about recession, worrying about gas, worrying about oil. There's a lot of stuff out there that,
right.
And the council members, we all know. I mean, we feel the same pain. We're part of it as well. So it's not like, we're exempt from that because we're on the council.
Right.
We live in town and we're part of that. So, I mean, it's great to have a town manager.
Yeah.
The town manager works directly with department heads, works with, the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education, so that we're all on the same page. So we all know where we want to be, where we want to go, and we will, do our best to, to maintain a budget that's not that painful to everybody. Because ultimately, you start throwing around percentages and everything else, and it just gets people all worked up. But at the end of the day, as a council, we need to sit there and look at what that dollar amount is. What is going to be the impact on a monthly basis to every taxpayer in town? And we're trying to limit that as much as we can. And that's why the development that we're doing obviously plays a role. Yeah. Indian River, as it grows and continues to grow, will be a big impact on the taxes that we'll receive from that property. Right now we're in the middle of a tax abatement that was granted to him at the beginning, which is standard process. So, we're in year 2 of that. So eventually that will work its way off, and hopefully Unilever will get going, and the apartments will help a little bit. Generate some tax revenue on that for property taxes. So little by little, you do what you can to kind of beef up that bottom line.
Now, I've only met the town manager once or twice. He seems like he's a really good fit for the town.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, he's I think people need to understand that they think that he's hands off or he's not available or not there. He's always available. At his office, you can always walk in and make an appointment. And the difference is again the same thing. He's not the first selectman. He's not the mayor. He is the town manager. So he's there to manage the town and do his thing. And then the ceremonial head would be the chairman. So not much else. That's what I do.
That would be you.
Doesn't give me any more power than anybody else, so it doesn't matter. I sit there and I run a meeting. That's about it.
Exactly.
That's what I got.
Absolutely. Well, would you mind sticking around for another segment?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back.
You matter.
You matter.
You matter.
And your words matter too.
Your words matter.
What you say in the hallways at school or in the student section at a game matters.
Words can be hurtful.
Words can be offensive.
Words can leave scars.
Words can also inspire.
Support.
And uplift.
You and your words.
Are they both important?
As a matter of fact, yes.
Community TV, your neighborhood TV.
Publicly funded and a reliable partner for cable companies nationwide. It provides transparent coverage of local and state government, education, and public programming.
A digital town green that can be watched anywhere, anytime, and on any device.
Watch us on today's high-tech distribution methods.
Community TV in Connecticut.
Local,
unfiltered,
reliable, and yours.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti, sitting here with Chris Aniskovich. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you, Peter.
You're welcome, Chris. All right, so we talked about town stuff the first segment, but from what a little birdie tells me, you're also running for state representative.
The birdie told you?
Yeah, the birdie told me.
Give it away?
the birdie told me, the signs told me, and I think the other day, my laundry even told me.
Yes.
There's
a lot of stuff. You just got to go out.
Absolutely.
Yes.
How's the campaign going?
It's going good. Running for the state rep, 35th district. So that is the Clinton, Killingworth, and Westbrook territory. So it's tiring.
Yeah.
Busy. You got to go to a lot of stuff. You got to get out there, and I love it. I think from the beginning, I'm running under the pretense that for me, it's always been about the community.
Right.
It's always been about everybody that's in town. It's not been about me, but it's everybody that's in town that you want to fight for. You want to be there to represent them and to be their voice. At a different level. And that's really all it is. So, I've been able to get out there and talk to a lot of people, meet a lot of people, been to a lot of events, and it's been great. The response has been wonderful. And that's what it's there for. And the more people that you meet and the more people you talk to, you get to understand that that's all they want. Politics plays a role in it, I get it, but I've been very, big proponent of people, not politics. That's what I've always talked about. And I am 100% behind that, because that is what it's about, because you're fighting for them, you're not fighting for your party. You're getting elected under a party, but at the end of the day, you're up there to fight for, your communities and what do they need? And you have to be there and be vocal within the community to find out what they need. And that's what you're bringing, to Hartford when you go, so that they're given a representation and they feel that they're represented. And I think the issue, is that sometimes people don't feel wanted. They don't feel that their voices are heard. And for me, I really don't care whatever political party or affiliation you are. You need to talk to everybody, because everybody has thoughts, opinions, ideas. Nobody has not one person or one party has the best ideas. So unless you have the ability to set aside the agendas and set aside the political affiliation, just get to a table and talk about what you want to do and what is in the best interest of the community that you're representing. And I think that's a big part of, always been a big part of what I've done on the council. I think as a council we work well together. I mean, we've been to functions together as a council. We were walking in a parade, and Dennis Donovan, I'll never forget, said to me, another council member, it's great that we can all walk in a parade and we can all talk and laugh and have a good time together.
Absolutely.
Because in the past, it really wasn't that way.
No.
I think a lot of that plays off of the town manager running the town, and we don't have, we again are all working together in order to do what's in the best interest of the town. And that's all it is. That's going to take, what I'm going to take to that next level, as I go through this process, and that's what I want to do.
Now, what is your platform?
I want to keep things local. I'm a big proponent of, zoning laws. They try to sometimes go to Hartford and they want to kind of tell you what to do down here, but who knows better than our district than the people that live there? So smaller communities, the local control is important to them, and I think they deserve the local control because it's your town, your decisions.
Right.
How it should be. The bigger things for Clinton, coastal resiliency, climate change, those are going to play a big role in it. Because of obviously, Clinton obviously is right on the coastline.
Right.
And there's things that we have to work for. That, I think we need, a better partnership with the state on that, because I think they need to bring the experts into our community and let us know what we can do to prevent, the erosion of our shorelines. So that's important. The other things are just the simple, we need to make the state more affordable. We hear those over and over. And the bottom line is, what do you do? I mean, it's, that's again, you have to have those open and honest discussions about, what is in the best interest of the people of Connecticut. Right. And what happens is we talk about the great rainy day fund that we have in the state, which is awesome. Right. But that's taxpayer money.
Yeah.
It wasn't money that the state, sold something and, earned the money. That is taxpayer money. So what are we going to do then to give back and help the people that may be struggling, especially in these times? We're coming into the winter, your oil heating prices are going to be crazy.
Oh yeah.
And so that's going to play a big part in it too, that, what can we then, give back to the community so that they're living more comfortable? And I think a lot of it has to do with that person that's going to represent you. You need to be vocal, you need to be visible, you need to be out in the public and talking to everybody. You have to stop with the parties. The party stuff kind of just gets in the way of getting something accomplished.
And one of the other things that we haven't talked about yet tonight was with the town council. Mm-hmm. The meetings are televised.
They're televised by Valley Shore Television.
And how important? I know. And how important to you is the partnership between the town of Clinton and Valley Shore Community Television? I
mean, I think ever since it started and we started doing this, it's a lot of people do watch it. You would think some people don't watch it, but I can tell you, people come up to me and said, "Oh, I've seen, I've watched the town council meetings on TV."
Yeah.
And because again, if people can't get to the meetings, they can at least watch the meeting and they can know what's going on.
Right.
And I've been a big part of promoting that and making sure that people know that I try to put out as much information as I can as town chair. That's what I feel is my job.
Absolutely.
Is to get information to the public, be fully transparent. It doesn't matter, here's the information. That's it. I just want people to know what's going on in town and know what's, coming up. And I think it's important that, people understand that they can go and they can watch it whenever they want.
Right.
That they don't have to be there that night. They can go and watch it later in the week or whenever they have time, and they can see what's going on in town. They can see what we're doing as a council.
Absolutely.
They can see what the town manager is doing. So it puts us in a good light and lets people know what we're doing.
Well, as a matter of fact, the importance of watching the town council meetings, like you said, people can go online and watch the meetings
Correct.
on the Valley Shore website.
Yep.
I actually recently watched one of your council meetings to find out I got reappointed to something.
Well, we made a mistake, but we did it anyways.
Thanks.
Yes, you can, because any reappointments or appointments of boards and commissions, we all do that at our meetings. And then, it's just another thing that, videotaping and making sure that all this information is available to everybody in town.
Right.
That's important.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now, as far as the campaign goes, I'm going to ask you one of my standard questions that I always ask if I have a political candidate on.
Okay.
If I didn't know you and you knocked on my door to introduce yourself, my question to you, and you did your spiel, you told me what you were running for, and I said to you, Mr. Aniskovich, why should I vote for you, and what makes you different than your opponent? What would you tell me?
I would tell them that you'll have a voice, that you'll be able to contact somebody, you'll be able to talk to somebody, that I will be visible, I will be, readily available for anything that you may need. And I think we have not been given that in the last couple of years. I think we need to be, you need to be out in the community to know what the community wants.
Right.
So the reason that you would vote for me is because you know what, you will see me. I will be doing things. I will be putting on, you set up, town hall meetings every couple months so that people know what's going on. Those are the things that you do. You need to bring the information that you have from Hartford, and you need to bring it back to the community so they know. And again, it shouldn't matter politics at all. That individual that's representing the district should be that, that person that can come back to the community and let you know what is going on and what is available and what are your needs in your community. Every community has different needs. Nobody is the same. So if you feel that you don't have a voice, then that's why people don't want to get involved and they don't want to say anything. Well, why would I say anything? It doesn't matter. But that goes a lot with running for political office as well. And you have to be, setting that aside. We all know what happens in politics, and sometimes it's just, I don't understand it sometimes.
Yeah, right.
If we're all working for the same thing, then how does politics get in the middle of it? So you have to be able to understand that you need to, sometimes come into the middle, have honest discussions about, what is in the best interest of the state first, the communities, and then move forward. Let them know that you're there to represent them, and it wouldn't matter what party you were from. Right. At the end of the day, this is about community. That's what it's about, first and foremost. Protect and provide is what government's supposed to do. So that's going to be the backdrop to what you should be working and fighting for. What are we going to provide to our communities? And that's what you should be doing.
Absolutely. Now, as far as the district that you're running for, what is maybe one or two issues for each one of the towns, each one of the districts that you're running for? Do you think are important?
I think for Clinton, obviously, it's the coastal resiliency, the erosion of our coastline, and we see it when we have these superstorms and what it's doing and what it's affecting our community. I think every community has issues with small businesses.
Oh yeah.
The small businesses are struggling, and sometimes they feel they don't get any help from Hartford or anything that they can do to help. And I think you need to be that voice for those, those mom and pop shops that we do need.
Absolutely.
Especially in the communities of Killingworth, Clinton, and Westbrook. There's a lot of them, and that's what makes us go. That's what makes us a small town community. So you want to keep that small town community, but you also want to make sure that you have somebody there, that can do the hard work and ask the hard questions and fight for the fact of what are we going to do for small businesses. Because, you continually, beat them up and the taxes, and they feel like they're just getting run over. And it's, that's what they want to do, that's their passion, and you want to make sure that they continue along that way. Killingworth, it runs up, they have some issues in a community up there where they're raising the taxes on the leasehold land. The Beechwood community up in Killingworth, yeah. Company bought the community, and now they're raising the leasehold fees, and some of these elderly people can't afford to pay it. So that's something that I don't know what the outcome will be, but that's something that is going to be on the radar that we have to fight for. So every community has their own little, things that, And again, do I know all of them? No, I don't. But I'm going to find out all of them, and that's what you need to do. Because I think it's important that you're out there asking those questions. So you don't know, you need to ask the question to the people in your community. And it's not just overall, it's individual, businesses and groups and organizations and whatever's in town that we need to make sure that we're representing them.
I actually think in the town of Killingworth, they formed a fair rent commission.
They did.
I was going to say, I saw,
did, yeah. And again,
I saw that in the paper the other day.
When we have one in Clinton.
Yep.
And I mean, the important thing I think is giving that kind of commission a little bit more teeth. Very limited in scope to what they can do.
Yep.
I mean, it's a problem.
Absolutely.
So you have it, great, because and again, there's been mandated by the state that towns over 25,000 have to have a fair rent commission.
Right.
Ones underneath may or may not. That's up to them. But we need more teeth.
Absolutely. And yes, the town of Clinton has one.
We do. And somebody might be on it. You're always, you're patting yourself on the back.
I was going to say, I think I might be on it.
And how many times have you guys met? See, that's what I mean. Because you don't have enough teeth.
Well, that's a good thing. So nothing's going on.
Well, there's a lot going on. You just need more teeth so you can do more.
Yeah, right. Call the chairman, tell him.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
So we got a little bit more time left. What else?
So we have a debate coming up on the 27th of October.
Yes.
There'll be a debate at Town Hall.
Yeah.
And that'll be, I think, on TV as well. I think they're going to record that live.
All right.
So that's coming up, and hopefully people can come out and let us know and hear what we got to say.
Cool. Chris Aniskovich, thanks for some time, valuable. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Peter.
You got
Absolutely.
it. On behalf of Chris Aniskovich, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks, good night, and we'll see you next week.